Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Choma Kalu if you're new here. And if you're not, welcome back. This is the C's Corner, like you all know. And this is where we have candid conversations. We talk about faith, we talk about life, we talk about love, and we talk about relationships. Okay? Now, today, we're going to be diving into a topic that is very dear to our hearts. Every one of us, even though sometimes we want to shy away from it or try to distract ourselves from it. And today, what we're talking about would be the pressure to be in a relationship. Yes, you see, this thing I just said, this pressure is real. Nobody tells you about it. Nobody wants to open up about the depth of it. But honestly, this pressure is a lot. All right? Now, first of all, this pressure can come from different places: family, friends, society, and even yourself. You on your own. You can start internalizing the fact that being single is is a bad thing, right? You start thinking that being single means you don't have enough self-worth. It means you're not enough. I've heard people say, oh, why is nobody, you know why are they not asking me out? Why is nobody approaching me? Especially on the side of the women, right? As much as this is generalized, both the male and the female, for women, it's a lot of more pressure on us because I don't know who put this timeline, but there's this unwritten law somewhere that you mustn't let 30 years catch up with you before you get married. It's something that is unconscious, but yes, it's at the back of our minds. You want to get married at 30. Whatever you do, you're saying that this guy is terrible to you, but just because 30 years was not meet me, and you end up being with somebody that doesn't realize how worthy you are and how much of a masterpiece God has created you to be. And then you end up with such person and live in regrets the whole of your life, right? Now, this pressure, as overwhelming as it can be, you don't have to succumb to it. Hence why we're making this video. Hence why we're having this conversation. So, yes, first of all, before we talk about how to avoid this pressure, let's unpack some of the sources of this pressure. All right. The first would be external source, and that would be from society, that would be from family, friends, and all whatnot, right? The society these days, if you're not in a relationship at 25, something is wrong with you. Something is really wrong with you. And it's wrong, right? As much as we want to make it look like, oh, it's not so much of a bother, we know it's a problem in our society already, right? You're seeing a lady in her 30s and people are calling her old. Oh, why is there not a man? I'm calling this 30 years over and over and over because it looks like it's the benchmark that women are given. It looks like it's the benchmark that women are given in this world. No, it's not supposed to be. You go home and then you go for a family function, and this auntie is asking you, when are we coming to eat rice now? Oh, Chimezie is getting married, and you're older than Chimezie by 2 years, and as much as they're not saying it, you've heard the silent words, and you begin to feel very awkward, right? This topic is really dear to my heart because I've seen a lot of young ladies make a lot of mistakes. And I don't know, but you can't, don't force it. And the truth is, these people trying to cajole you into these relationships, these people, once you make that mistake, they'll still be the same set of persons to point it out to you that you made an error. And they would not hesitate to tell you to your face how much of a bad choice your spouse is. So, really, are they doing more harm to you or more good to you? Just think about it really. Are they helping you now or not? Thinking about the long run, would you rather listen to them? So now we've talked about the external pressure, the external sources, I mean. Let's talk about the self-imposed pressure. Now, this particular source is what is killing most people. And social media. Social media is your greatest enemy if you are in this phase of, oh, why am I single? Yes. Class of 2024 did not let us rest, right? And it's you don't even know. It comes very subtle, right? It comes to you in a very, very subtle manner. You open the social media, they're telling you the do's and don'ts you have to adhere to be a good partner and all that. Oh, the things you're doing wrong. You can even hear preaching, oh, preaching. Men of God will be teaching, oh, the reason why that brother left you, you have this one, you have that one, you have that one, this one. And sometimes you look at yourself and you're like, well, my character not bad like that, Sha. And then you don't know you're internalizing these pressures, right? Someone like, oh, celebrities, let me not mention names. Every single day they are dropping content on how they are all loved up, or how they are. Before you catch your breath, they've dropped another one. And hey, God, in your head, what is going on with me, right? In fact, I'm going to share a personal story. There was this celebrity. Well, when all of this rollout of weddings were happening last year, there was this particular celebrity that I opened Instagram and scrolling and I see her wedding. Gosh, you guys, you need to see first of all the decoration of the hall. Then the aesthetics. If down to her husband was aesthetically pleasing, everything was top notch, everything was good. And all of a sudden, I felt my heart skip a bit, and immediately I just logged out. I'm like, what is going on? I felt the way I usually feel when I'm anxious about something or when I'm worried or disturbed. And I'm like, no, no, I'm not doing this. No. I logged out. I don't think I entered Instagram again throughout that particular day. Because my mind began to, what's going on? And then in the evening, I think I talked about it with my friend, and I say, see what just happened to me. A lot of ladies, it happens to them, and they allow it stay. They allow it settle in their minds, and so you start looking at yourself as not good enough. Oh, why is this not happening for me? And maybe one talking stage you have, you know that you really don't want to go into this relationship with this person, right? But because of that pressure you're seeing, social media is a lot, though. It is a lot. Because of that pressure, that you've accumulated as a result of watching these things, you hastily go and say yes to this person. And then the rest will be history with you. And then when in the long run, you're not seeing what social media has shown you, because now everybody on social media teaches you about love from their own perspective. Now, another thing you need to note is no two relationships are the same. That it worked for Mr. A doesn't mean it will work for Mr. B. That it worked for your friend, your bestie self, does not mean it will work for you. No two relationships are the same. The earlier we realize this, is going to be the best decision we're going to make for ourselves, right? So when we start internalizing everything we learn or we see on social media, it starts forming a perspective in your head that is not God's perspective of relationships or marriages. Now, let me digress a little and talk to those in relationships. Now, because you've seen on social media that your girl, one person you're following on social media, the husband buys flowers every single day while coming back from work for her. And then your boyfriend is not a flower buying man. You now start thinking he doesn't love you like that. He doesn't love you enough. Be careful what you wish for. You're not see all you're seeing on social media about that other person's relationship are aesthetics. Nobody's telling you the work that goes in there. Nobody's telling you the fights they have every day. Nobody's talking to you about the uncertainties and doubts that the girl has in her heart. But you're seeing things for the just for the gram, right? The glitz and glamour for the gram, but the actual thing in the relationship, because relationship is work. Oh. Don't think it's all All those things you see on social media. Really. So now, because your man is not flower buying or not car door opening, I mean, we ladies, you like that, right? I do. But if he's not doing it, that is not the fruit of the spirit that the Bible tells us about. Focus on the more important things, right? Now, I'm going to come back to the single people, right? As much as you are overwhelmed with social media, the pressure from social media, as much as family is pushing you, please, please, I beg of you, try to withdraw. Hmm? Try to withdraw because these pressures don't help you. They don't help you at all. So now we've seen the sources of this pressure, right? Can we take a moment to find out the impact of this pressure on us as single people? You know, the first thing it does to you is it drives you into rushed decisions. It drives you into making decisions that are rushed. Decisions you're supposed to sit and think through, right? Decisions you're supposed to pray about. Decisions you're supposed to seek counsel for. You find yourself giving in. Almost last, nothing is certain in life and you rush into it just because you want to bear the tag of someone's girlfriend or someone's wife. Just to escape being single, really. Honestly, right? When you do that, you realize that it's not a bed of roses. And maybe by the time you realize, it might be a bit too late, right? Why would you want to rush into something just because you want to feel among? So you see, that is one impact of this pressure. That's one thing this pressure does to you. The second thing this pressure does to you is self-worth issues. You lose your self-esteem. You lose every sense of worth as a person. Mm-mm, that shouldn't be. Being in a relationship doesn't make you, I'm going to say it again. Being in a relationship does not make you. God has a purpose for your life. God has a roadmap, something He has planned from beginning to the end and just needs you to walk through that plan. And some of us want to pause our lives and play by another set of rules just because we want to fit among in the society. This is really wrong, and it's affecting a lot of people today, even those we watch on social media. They won't tell you, but some of them, this is what they go through, right? So losing your self-worth is one of the impacts this pressure have on us. Now, the next thing is emotional exhaustion. I want to say that this might be the worst kind of impact because now you go into that relationship rushed with a low self esteem just because you want to feel among, and you jam someone that messes your life up. For some ladies, he ends up impregnating you and abandons you with a child. You become a single mother. For some persons, health complications, you get diseases that you don't even know anything about prior to that time, and then the person eventually leaves you, or you eventually find a way out of such relationships. Emotionally, it drains you. Emotionally, you get exhausted. And sometimes it takes the grace of God before someone else is able to break down the walls you build as a result of that experience. Is this something you really want to go through? Right? You see, your emotions just becomes a wreck when you go through such an encounter. So why would you want to subject yourself to that? These impacts, they might sound very little, but deep down, right, when it hits someone, when you meet someone that has gone through this, you realize that it is so cumbersome, more than you actually even think. All right? Take your time and think about these impacts. There are just three that I outlisted, but inside the three, there are a lot more that time may fail us to explain or talk about. Now, the next thing we are going to talk about now, the most important thing, is how to avoid these pressures, right? I mean, that's why we're here. Some of us fall into all of these deep things, all of these consequences because we really don't have anybody to tell us how to avoid them, how to stay away from them, right? Sometimes we don't share what we're going through. Well, I know the world can be a bad place. You don't know who you're going to talk to now, and the person will go and sell your market outside. I get it. But there is no how you look around, you not find someone. Go to a therapist. Find someone you can confide in and explain the pressure you're feeling. That is your first gateway to getting rid of all of those pressures. Talking to someone. Now, I want to talk about redefining success, right? Redefining success is one of the ways to avoid this pressure. How do I mean? Being in a relationship shouldn't define what success is to you. That in itself shouldn't even be your idea of success. I'm sorry, it might sound a bit controversial, but yes, that's what I think. Beyond the relationship, like I said, there is a roadmap that God has put out. There is a roadmap for every one of us. So when you start centering everything around, oh, my man this, oh, my man that, oh, I wish I had a man to do this, oh, all of that. Honestly, if you think about it, it sounds very shallow. Okay? What are you doing for yourself? Away from being someone's partner, who are you? I was in one leadership training some years back, and the coach said something that really resonated with me. It stuck with me over the years. She said, apart from being Mrs. This person, daughter of this person, mother of this person, who are you? Right? Away from this other attachments, who can you say you are? Right? Redefine success. Of course, within the ambits of God's word. Define what success is to you, away from all of that, seeking validation or relevance. Define it for yourself. That is your first way of dealing with the pressure to be in a relationship. Secondly, now listen, I'm not saying, oh, being in a relationship is a bad thing. No. But while you wait, while you're in this phase of singlehood, what do you do? What is success to you? Or you just keep sulking and frowning and feeling like life is cheating you just because you don't have someone to be your partner in that sense. That's my point. It's a good thing to be in a relationship, but wait until yours comes. And while you're waiting, make the most out of it. That is what I mean by redefining success. All right? Now, the second thing I want to say is set boundaries. Set your boundaries. You see, I know it's hard. Sometimes people say, oh, it's easier for you to say. You're not in my shoes. You don't know the kind of family I come from. Some of us even stay away from family functions just because. I understand that. But hey, set your boundaries. Right? When the auntie comes, oh, when are we going to eat rice now? Oh, why don't you have a man yet? Have the courage to tell them, oh, while I appreciate your concern, I am in a phase that I would like to enjoy while I wait for the next phase you're pushing me to. Stand up for yourself. And when you feel like, oh, I can't really stand up to these people, withdraw. Stay away for a while, right? Until you're able to find that courage. I did that some time ago, right? Maybe not relating to relationships and stuff, but there was a phase I was in a couple of years ago, and I realized that I needed to retreat for a while. I needed to be by myself because I needed strong positive energy. And I'm sorry to say, but the people I had around me at that time, family inclusive, were giving me the negative energy, right? And I knew that if I stuck with that, it was going to ruin me at that point in time. So I stayed away. I stayed away even from my family house. I'm sorry, but yeah, I did that just because I know that God has a plan for my life and I wasn't going to ruin it because of a phase that would come and go, right? I love my family very much, but at that point in time, I had to retreat. So set boundaries. Tell them. I would always opt for you telling them. I appreciate your concern. I do. I really do. I know you want what was what's best for me. I get it. But you see, this phase, please, please, I wouldn't want to rush it. And I would wait for God's own timing. While I am waiting, I'm going to do everything I need to do, to show that, oh, I'm available, right? I'm not going to have the nastiest of characters just because, some people, they retreat to having nasty characters and building walls up and all of that. And they don't realize that they're even pushing away more people that would be potential partners. That's a conversation for another day. So, but while you're waiting, be gracious about it. Be gracious about it. Go about your plans, your ambitions. Oh my God, go about them. Be the best at what you do, right? When the time comes, the right person would come. But at that moment, tell everybody bringing a negative energy, please, please, right? Stand up for yourself. It is for your own good. Well, if you want to go the extreme way, like I do sometimes, I block and I delete. Yes, I did that a couple of times last year, right? I'm not saying you should, but sometimes, desperate times call for desperate measures. When my sanity is very important to me. I don't play with it. My sanity, my happiness, my joy, my peace and quiet, I protect it with my life. So anything contrary to that, I stay away, right? So you might not want to block and delete. Maybe they are your destiny helpers. But you just know the gracious way to tell them, gracious way to set those boundaries, and it will work for you. All right. And then shift your perspective. This is really important. Shift your perspective. A lot of people see singlehood as a lack of, nobody wants me, They see it as a lack, really. They see it as a problem to fix. It is not a problem to fix. Being single is a phase. Oh my God. Yeah, of course, there are times that it will come to, and then you'll be like, oh, I would really want to get out of this. But how do you go about it? Listen, I have one question I usually ask. A lot of people don't want to answer that question, but one question I ask myself all the time, and I ask every other single person, would be, what if you never get married in this life? Have you ever thought about it? What if you never get married? What if it wasn't even God's design for you as a person now, to get married? What if it's not? What happens to you? You will lead a miserable life, or you will make the most of your life? Come on. There should be 1,001 plans. There should be something that keeps you up at night, keeps you excited. That is not this thing, this getting married or being in a relationship. Listen, I am not against it. In fact, I am pro marriage. I love marriages a lot. I talk a lot about it. I love relationships. They are beautiful. But just what if you don't get into one? What happens to you? I know a lot of people have said, God forbid now. This thing I just said. A lot of people have said, God forbid, I beg, don't say that kind of thing. I know. But sometimes you have to confront those difficult questions. You have to tell yourself the truth, right? What if? I feel like once you start having this self reflection, it kind of shifts your perspective. Move away from seeing it as a lack to seeing it as an opportunity to do a lot of things. Trust me, all a single lady can achieve, let's say career wise, a married person with a toddler might not be able to achieve as much, right? So, how about right now that you're single and you have the luxury of time to yourself? How about you take advantage of it? See it as an opportunity, really. Achieve all of those things, put things in place so that when the time comes when you settle down and be with a family, have your own family, You know you have achieved those things, and then you can now face that particular phase at that time, at its own time, right? Shift your perspective. Being single is not lack. It's not a lack. It's not a problem to fix. It is an opportunity to expand your horizon. All right. Now, I also need you to avoid comparison. Social media is all a mirage. A lot of it. 80%, if not 90. They are all, the more you look, the less you see, really. Don't ever compare yourself to someone else. You don't know. There's an analogy one of my pastors used to give, and I love that analogy so much. He said one time, I mean, I don't think he was talking about, no, he wasn't talking about relationships, but he was talking about life generally. He said, some of us, you are sad that, oh, maybe your classmate is already working in a multi-million dollar company and earns a lot of money, and life is going smoothly for this person, and you're just a teacher and you're sad. He said, what you don't realize is some people's blessings are at the bus stop, and some other people's own are inside the streets. After the bus stop, you're going inside and inside. And sometimes the reason your own is inside is because it is more valuable. It might be more expensive. People that have expensive stuff, jewelry and stuff, you have an inner zone where you keep them compared to the ones that everybody knows and has. You keep those ones outside, but the things that are valuable to you, keep them inside. You wait for special occasions. He said that's the way some people's destinies are. Some people's destinies have to be hidden inside, because the process of getting to that destiny molds you into the person that deserves that destiny inside. But because now you have seen your fellow classmates now, that their own is at the bus stop, you're envious. And he concluded that saying by saying nobody's your mate. So for those of us that like to compare ourselves with social media people, or maybe your colleague, or maybe nobody is your mate in this life. Nobody, not one person. Even if we were born on the same, nobody is your mate, destiny wise. So forget about the comparison. If somebody's, be happy for them and wait your turn. Be happy and wait your turn. It's that simple. Life is easy if you actually decide to view it like this. Avoid comparison. Social media has a lot of comparison going on. Please, I beg of you, it's not all glitz and glamour. It's a lot more. All right. Finally, put your trust in God. Anchor in faith. Even God Himself says, I know the thoughts that I think towards you. You think God is a foolish God? God that created you is God that constituted marriage, or He made that institution marriage. You think He doesn't know you deserve love? You think He doesn't know that you deserve to relax and be taken care of by one bubble? He knows. But then wait your turn. Wait your turn, right? Wait, don't run, don't be faster than God. Don't help God. I remember 2023, someone said something to me, and I felt so bad. No, I didn't feel bad that the person said it, or like thinking about my life kind of feeling. No, that was not the feeling. I felt bad for the person. I felt bad for my generation. I felt bad that this notion has become common. This lady, I think that was when I was coming into Lagos, and then at the airport, I booked a ride. I was heading to her house, and on my way there, she said, "Oh, she was not home. She went to." I can't really remember how that story went, but now we're having a conversation about relationships, and then she said, "Choma, God they delay sometimes. Oh, hey God, say God is not on time all the time. Oh, I was shocked to my bone marrow. I said, my God, what? Has it gotten to this that you think God can be late? She said God can be late sometimes. I wept for my generation, really. See, no matter what happens, don't lose your faith in God. That is the ultimate. Once you have your faith anchored on God, unshaken, I promise you, everything will be all right. At the end of the day, of course, you're going to cry. Of course, you're going to feel bad. But come on, it's all in the process. Trust God for your own spouse, your own person, your own person. Because when at the end of the day you find your own person, it will be worth it. I promise you. So now, last words before I leave. Pressure doesn't define you. This pressure does not define you at all. You are beautiful. You are whole. You are valuable. You are worthy of love. I promise you. Don't let anybody else tell you anything contrary to this. You are worthy of love. That's why Jesus died for you. To for starters. So if Jesus can do that for you, who says you're not worthy of love? Wait your turn, like I said. And listen, if you've ever felt this pressure, know you're not alone. But follow these steps, and I promise you, you'll be happier. Now, if you have gone through any of these experiences of pressure, I'd like to read your story. So in the comment, I need you to tell us your story, or I will drop an email address where you can share your story. And if you want me to share it on my channel, of course, by all means, I'll do that. And if you know someone that needs this video, I'd enjoy you, please share this video to this person. Comment, like, share. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And please turn on post notifications for subsequent videos. Until next time, I love you all. Thank you all for watching, and bye.